I am super excited for today's episode. I have a very special guest on with me today. And once I introduce her, you'll know why she's so special and she's so amazing. And she's, someone I cherish and I love. Before we were coming on the show, I was just telling her how I always pick the people that I believe that are always authentic, that's going to be bringing their story and their authenticity and their journey, really their second chances journey, so that my audience can have some practical, hands-on information that they can take away and use and be of value to them. So just before I start, I want to let you know why we started Second Chances and who am I and what the series is all about. So actually, Second Chances is after my book, Second Chances, and it's actually the roadmap of my personal story that I didn't find in any book or any protocols, because I come from healthcare background, that wasn't able to help me unless I went on that journey and had a lot of takeaways that I was then able to implement. And the reason I wrote the book is because I wanted to cut out that, pain and suffering that many people will go through, and just give them the health and mind hacks, if you will, that they could automatically use and practically use in their own lives, and be able to bring value that way. So then, of course, this led on to me bringing the show and bringing the same experts that will bring on that practical information from their own and the best testing ground, which is their own life, right? So my name is Dr. Hanan Salim. I'm an international speaker, award-winning author, recognized by the world health and wellness gurus as the most influential leader or thought leader in health and well-being. So my special guest today, she was with me at the start of this journey to becoming all that and then some, getting all the awards, the recognition, standing on major stages, sharing the stages with celebrities and influencers. And I attribute one of the main pillars at the start of my career with my guest today. Her name is Saana Azzam. She's the topic actually today is her wellness journey, and it's masters in economics to leading speakers. So she's also an international speaker. She's a public speaking coach. She's an author, and she's the co-founder of the tech platform called Experts Market, which I'm part of, by the way. And I highly advise it for any upcoming speakers. She's a chief inspiration officer of the leading speakers bureau in the Middle East, MENA Speakers. I'm part of that as well. So we've been attached at the hips for quite a while. She'll come on, and I don't remember how long we've known each other, because it's been a while, and she'll remind me how long we've known each other. She's also the co-founder of Expert Life Mission. Middle East, the MENA Speakers, we mentioned that. She's on a life mission, and purpose is to create an improved, enlightened world through dialogue and knowledge transfer. Saana graduated from the esteemed Stockholm School of Economics with a master's in economics. Her adapt skills and knowledge earned her the prestigious title of Swedish Female Economist of the Year in 2010. I didn't know that. That's so amazing. She has undertaken public speaking engagements in Europe on leadership, and was listed as one of Sweden's 101 super talents in 2012, as well as recognized as a top 30 under 30 business influencers. Wow. Saana is a fellow at the Vital Voices Grow, GROW, which is a leading business program under the founding leadership of Hillary Clinton, Madeleine Albright. She's the author of the book Leading Speakers, and contributing author of 2 books titled Voices of the 21st Century and Your Dose of Motivation. And she's going to give us some amazing doses of motivation. So without further ado, I want to introduce this lovely lady, Saana Azzam. Hi.
Hi. Wow. What an intro. Thank you.
Did I miss anything?
That was perfect. You did great. It was wonderful.
Thank you. So tell us, Sana, about your second chances journey. As I mentioned before the show, please feel free to share anything from the beginning of your journey and where you are today.
Amazing. So second chances is a great expression. And I believe I've had more than second chances. So like a third, fourth, and so on in life. And a few times where the reset button has been clicked and you're like, what do I do now? Figure it out. And it kind of goes all the way back to, when I was born. I was literally born in transit in between countries. Like I came out as my family was fleeing, where they're refugees. So they were leaving Lebanon and then heading out to a safer environment because they had to. And so along the way, as they were leaving Lebanon, I was born in Germany. I came out like literally along the way. And they went,
Wow.
oh, okay, she's here. Time to take a time out. Let's go, baby, get baby out. Yes, I didn't really stay too long and I didn't have time to pick up the language because we moved on then to Sweden when I was about 3 months old. Yeah, my language skills weren't really on point then. And so we started a new life in Sweden, learning language, getting acquainted with the culture, and just literally just having, for my family, it was a second chance. For me, it was a real chance, of surviving and living. And so with God's grace, life has been fantastic. We've lived in a place where education is free. And I truly believe that this is, one of the countries and lands of opportunity. And I've had great parents that have always kind of pushed me forward. You could do whatever you want as long as you come home with good grades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much unfolded. And that mentality to always kind of make the most of every opportunity, no matter what, was definitely there. There are moments where, I was studying at university, and I find this to be really interesting. And I just like living in Stockholm. One of the hardest things as a student is to find a place to live. And I wasn't fitting in at the university, and I wasn't like happy with my new situation. And so I actually took everything. I packed up and took a bus home to the south of Sweden. I went, Mom, I can't do this. Like, I can't find a home. I can't find a place to stay. I'm not comfortable. And she, like typical Palestinian mom, just looks me straight in the eyes and she says, like, even if you have to live under the bridge, you're going to go back and figure life out because that's what you have to do. And that was that. No kind of, son, it's okay, it's fine. None of that. It was pure tough love, kick in the butt, and then got me going, which, that mentality's in a sense been there throughout. Like, you have to figure life out and make the most of it. And so one thing led to another. And all of a sudden I find myself winning these accolades, which was fantastic. Love, great, love it. And so in 2010, I won an award called Female Economist of the Year, which you mentioned. Thank you. I get a call, and that call is saying, Saana, we read about you, get up on stage, you want to do a speech. I had never done a formal speech in front of strangers before. Like, you would do every occasional one in class or in session, but never a professional one on stage. But like the kiddie in me, the university kid was like, yeah, sure, I can do it. Why not? I'll do it. So I did prepare really well. The moments before I step on stage, I went, oh my God, what have I done? Like, why did I do this? Nausea kicks in and my knees were shaking. And I'm going, oh my gosh. I go up on stage. I have a complete blackout for a couple of minutes, but I kind of come back and I see myself talking and people are nodding. And I'm going, okay, something's moving along nicely. Like, I had rehearsed this speech at that point in time so many times. So even with a blackout, it was just like moving forward. So I did that speech. It was fabulous. I got really nice reviews. And then I got my first offer to be a paid speaker and do the same speech in a paid capacity. And that's when I found out that you can become a professionally paid speaker. And I'm going, wow, voila, I can get paid to speak. Let's do it. I'm happy to do this. Yes. And that really started my career in the speakers field that I'm in. And I've been doing it for the past 10 years now.
Wow. So this is when you switched your career, I assume, then from being into economics into the speakers realm, or what allowed you, or what initiated the idea to for the speakers bureau, for teaching others how to to do the same as you.
Yeah, amazing. So I didn't really think that I can do the speakers thing full time. So I've always kind of done it in parallel to my banking jobs or financial jobs, as a side thing. And so because it somehow came too easy. And that was the whole thing. Like I would be out and I would be speaking, I would earn a month's salary from a 1 hour speech. And I'm going, but this isn't right. Like I need to work hard. And when I've worked hard, I need to earn my cash, because that's what you do. That's what we're raised to do. Letting life happen and flow and glow is something that I wasn't familiar with. Like it was an uncommon concept. And I think a lot of the overachievers are used to struggle then reward,
Yes.
And so so now in this point in life, this is when I've learned that actually life could happen and flow and glow and with ease, and you can be successful with ease and happiness. Like that's a fully possible situation. Why don't I do that?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I want to also ask you about your entrepreneurship. How did you get into this amazing journey of entrepreneurship?
Great. So, I've always kind of had parallel careers, and many people don't know this. I've been setting up businesses that have failed many times since I was about 18. So I've actually ventured into like selling marble, like importing, exporting marble. And I traveled around Europe buying these beautiful marble pieces.
Wow.
That didn't work out. I actually went into a joint venture with one of my friends and helping her sell like belly dance outfits and glitter.
Wow, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
You know me. This is like a completely opposite field from anything that I don't dance, right? Like that's not me. But I still was happy to help and explore. That wasn't super successful either. And then I've done a few of these other ventures. Like I've been in the beauty industry. We were selling laser machines at some point. Tried. And then after learning a lot of things in 2016, I went for it myself with no partners, with my own strategy, doing something I actually love, not interested by or like entertained by, but I love it. And so that was one of these differentiators. 2016, I set up Mina Speakers, and that came as like an opportunity. And it came from a place of not wanting to work at a bank, not being super excited about my corporate life. It was fine, but it wasn't fantastic. And we want fantastic. Like I demand fantastic from life. And so, I actually resigned on the spot because I was doing something that wasn't in alignment with my values. And I wanted to do something that truly is in alignment with who I am, what I love, what I stand for, just like to my core. And I do believe that has been one of the reasons why, I set up the business, and it's been through so much. And even now with the pandemic, but with God's grace, we're alive, kicking, we're doing well. And that's because I'm so excited to do the work. Like I love it. I love the struggles. I love the challenges, and I want to keep learning more. So that's when Mina Speakers was set up.
I could vouch for your passion, because I remember when I was in your office and we were having a training session, and the door opens wide open. You're coming in on crutches, right? Your leg is in a cast. And I'm like, what are you doing here? You're like, oh, we have a session today. I'm like, and I was and it was amazing. And you were just like, nope, I know I have to be in this cast for a while. That's not going to stop me. I think you were like playing basketball or something, and you fractured You're like, and here, and you're opening, and they're helping you and bringing you your water. Like, all right, you're on. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I mean, it is true. I don't 100% stand by it. You know, when they say when you do something you love, you never have to work it in your life.
Yeah.
That's not exactly true because you have to work.
Yes,
Like,
you do.
it doesn't make me super excited. It's boring, but I still do it because it has
Yeah.
to be done. But then, generally speaking, like I'm operating from a place of passion in a way that I haven't done in my previous jobs, and it's like
Yeah.
loving every challenge, and it makes the failures and the hardship just enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
enjoyable. It's like, okay, this didn't work out. What can I do next? How can I
Yeah.
resolve it? Move forward.
Yeah. And I remember at that time I had to travel to Egypt, and you're like, okay, fine, we could schedule you in. What are your days? What can we work around your ventures and everything like that? And I was like, okay. And you're like, no, we have a timeline. We're going to be right on it. And I loved you for that. And your passion comes oozing out of you from every working with you from the your sessions, explaining things and trying to bring it and bring it home for me. And I really till today I appreciate all that we've worked on, and you've helped me. Really, you were one of the pillars in my foundation when I was starting out, and I want to very much thank you for that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for saying that. It's wonderful to hear and I appreciate it. And it is these moments that just fuel my soul. Like not the gratitude, but the fact that you've had just like even a small part in somebody's life that has had
Yeah.
a positive effect. And that like it gives me goosebumps. I love it. Thank you for saying that. And I love you and I'm so proud of you. You are truly the benchmark of somebody who gets the industry that we're in and the work that needs to be done. And I love the fact that you mentioned this. Some people come in thinking like, oh, well, I had a good panel or I'm a really good speaker. So now I'm going to go up on stage and just be a speaker. But in my world, you're a leader in the room. You can have an impact, and that requires ethics. That requires morals. That requires taking that leadership position very seriously. Because at the end of the day, what you say, if somebody's listening to you, they will actually implement it. And hopefully, I feel like every speaker on stage should be positive. If you're not a motivational speaker, even if you're talking finance or supply chain management or something somewhat dry, you're a demotivational speaker. And I don't want that. And I can't stand by that. So you totally get that. And every time you're sharing your knowledge, it's like, how can I help you? How can I help you heal? How can I help you become better? And that's the type of messaging that I respect, I adore. And of course, that message should be spread to the world.
Thank you. Just so our audience know that anywhere there's an opportunity for speakers or anything, I was like, go to Saana, right? And anywhere, anytime there's an opportunity for, a speaker needed for health and well-being and about talking my system, I just get a call, okay, you're on. So we don't have any contracts, Saana and I, we don't have any, it's just pure love that we know that what we bring was going to definitely help others. And sometimes she'll say, oh my God, I didn't know that you spoke to this person about me. And then they showed up to her or contacted her. I'm like, oh, Saana, thank you. You didn't tell me you were going to put me up on my, you sent my profile. And it's like, yeah, it's really amazing. And that's why, you're one of the, the special people that are really close to my heart, because I truly want to serve you. And there's no, oh, I did favor for you, you do one for me. It's just pure love, pure. And I love, and actually these kind of relationships are very few, unfortunately. And I hope that people could understand that giving is the best service. And that will bring along the profits and the everything else. And you're about that. You're all about that. Service first, and then everything else will follow. And I think we resonate on that level in many ways.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So I always say, serving is the new selling.
Yes.
So if we're talking, customer service or from a business perspective,
Yeah.
it's almost like I don't even care if you're buying something that's like for 100 dirhams or 100,000 dirhams, you're going to get the same level of excellence and service. And that's what I stand for, to the best of our capacity, right? We're always learning, we're always improving. And that's the beauty of being, running your own business or being in a place where you're a servant leader, you're doing something for others. It's that you try to do your level best. And so collaboration is the new black. For sure.
Absolutely. Especially in these times of change where, you could actually, in these times is when people need to reach out more to each other, right? And whether, with just the giving and helping and then you will receive. Yeah. And you're all about that. Yeah. I really appreciate.
Absolutely. So, I say this in the most, both from a energy exchange, if that's a linguistic you want to use. I'm not into the new age stuff too much. Like I do enjoy reading and exploring, but I'm not there. And also from a business stance, when we talk about, say, like gender equality or diversity, not only is it the right thing to do, an ethical thing to do, but also from a business perspective, like there are lots of reports, there are lots of research that shows like when you're considerate to others, it leads to profitability as well. So just keeping both of these two mindsets in mind. Yes, you want to do good, but you also want to do well, like you want to perform. And they kind of have to go hand in hand.
Right, exactly. So this leads us to your new online platform, Know Who Market, right? Did I?
Yes, but we are big reveal now happening.
Wow. Thank you, yay!
We are completely we're renaming it. We are rebranding and we are expanding. So I've had a tech team for 6 months, just in the dungeon, fixing, upgrading. So it's just gonna be a monster. And kind of creating a platform that gives a speaker, an expert, a coach, like every capacity to provide their knowledge to the world, whether that's on an individual basis, online course, book sales, or just being booked as a speaker. So we're creating the whole ecosystem of what does an expert need to do. Well, this is what they're going to offer. And these are the different ways people can buy, and access their time and knowledge. And it's going to be called Experts Market, experts.market.
Wow. Oh my God. Right? Yeah, I like it. I love it. Very. So it's just going to be like a place where the experts could come on and show off all their services, whether they're an author or a speaker and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if somebody has time with you, then they'll just put it into the schedule, pay for those hours. If it's paid or if it's free, that's not your choice. And then you're able to, provide your advisory. Or if somebody wants to book you as a speaker, they can access you directly with no commission from the platform. And so really just creating as many opportunities as possible for the experts and the speakers to provide their knowledge.
Wow. When is the launch? Now that I have you on, now I have you on, on the iron.
So the launch should be happening. Wow, it's a big one. My tech guys won't be very happy. Let's just say mid-August. Wow,
so it's around the corner. It's not that. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So you're going to be doing an official launch and everything by that.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that I found interesting, this whole idea came from the fact that when I set up the business, I was getting a lot of people that were kind of in your position, like fantastic experts in your field, super knowledgeable, but then your branding and your positioning isn't there, right? Mm-hmm. Like it just needed to be strengthened. And so why wouldn't somebody get a chance to share their story and share their knowledge because they wouldn't have their branding? No agency in the world they always look at positioning and branding. They wouldn't sign on somebody like that. So I was kind of constantly rejecting people, saying, sorry, I can't have you on. And they were asking me why. And I'm going, well, this is an opportunity. These stories are being untold because they don't have social media marketing or websites or a bio written, all of that. Why don't I provide them the platform to share their story and be able to inspire others? And I kind of like the idea to go, well, if that happened to you, then it means I can overcome that too, no matter what the narrative is. Yes. Whether that's a 6-year-old that's sharing her story, which we actually have done. Very cool. Yeah. We've had a 6-year-old girl on stage. Or if it's somebody who is like retired and is now having their second chance in life to share their narrative. They might not have the strongest marketing and branding, but at least now they have a platform. And I'm so sure that there's somebody that's there and wants to listen.
Wow. Okay. So if anybody wants to reach out to you about this, I know you haven't launched yet, but if there's a waiting list or something, or you're taking applications, like they would just reach out directly to you on your social media handles, or what exactly?
Yeah, so I believe that the easiest is you're always going to get really prompt LinkedIn responses. So let's just centralize all of that to go to my LinkedIn on Saana Azzam and just send me an email and we'll send a response right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. I know how you are very being confidential with your, launches and everything. And I really appreciate you sharing and being open about this new launch, which is amazing. Okay. So Mom, the new hat that you have just recently put on, how is that intermingling with the launches and and all these amazing work that you're doing?
Yeah, time management has never been more important. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to, 2 ventures, a small baby, a big baby. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and so all of that's going on, and then navigating through a pandemic on top of it all. I think navigating through a pandemic has been one of the most challenging leadership situations I've ever been in. And it's just both keeping up with legislation and what's happening, pivoting the business, making sure everyone feels safe, everyone is physically healthy, and just kind of having a transparent stream of communication. And so that's been, wow, what a couple of months it's been. I'm sure everyone has had a very interesting couple of months lately, but that's been a challenge and a half. And so motherhood, though, is the biggest gift. It's been the most wonderful thing. It's just the most fulfilling role I've ever been in. And I just, wow. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Yeah.
No manual, right? No, you just have to, like we were just saying, wing it and see how it goes, right? The poor kid is the first one, right?
Yeah. I wish there was a manual, but there is none. And but I've been really lucky. She's been great. She's just, we're talking about communication. There's like adult communication, which I've done for years, and nonverbal and verbal communication, all of that. But then also trying to decipher and understand kids' language. Yeah. Wow, that's like a whole new. That's fascinating. But there is a way, like they do communicate, and that's what's so beautiful about it. So if you understand your kid and what they're saying, she'll go, I want food, and it sounds in a way, or I'm uncomfortable, or I want to sleep, or change my diaper. Yay. But that communication is clear if you start tuning into their language. That's been a really interesting new challenge when it comes to like communication skills, and a whole new realm for me to explore. Loved it. Yeah.
So very, on this particular topic, mommies and women in working and trying to balance, quote unquote, this work-life balance. What would be like your top 3, for example, tips that you have found during this process, during the last few months anyway, that really worked here that you could pass on?
So I know one thing. I don't want to make it sound too easy and breezy. It's not. If I hadn't designed my life, and that's the word I'm going to use, design my life to fit my hours and her needs and still be able to perform, this wouldn't have worked out. So I was really lucky to create, and have enough time to create, set up my own business, be able to dictate my own hours, and then being able to also get help. So, we have help at home. And I have a fantastic husband who also gets to dictate his own hours because he runs his own business. And so we have literally just designed and created this space in order for us to be able to be super present parents, but at the same time, professionals with an ambition to do well and still perform, and at no compromise of my health and my sanity. And so it's just literally been, I don't know if this would have worked if I was working in a job. I just don't think so. Unless it was an ultra flexible workplace, which we're seeing now. But, it's been like calls at midnight sometimes because that's my window. It's been, I sleep till 11 because I'm tired and I can do that, but I don't compensate in other hours. Or she's just fussy and I have to just stop everything and go. Or she's attended meetings with me. She sat through quite a lot of meetings where I'm like, okay, well, I have a baby, so you have to live with this. Like,
never too young to learn, right? Never too young to teach her, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing is that everyone's been very understanding, supportive. Like, we've sat through negotiations and I have a baby next to me. And it's been fine. It's been fine. I think only one meeting where she was just super fussy and I just like, please stop. And she didn't, and that's fine. And I think we need to all as business leaders, as employers, be able to incorporate that. If I'm delivering and the team feels supported, then what's stopping me from being able to maintain a family and have a household? Like, I think you can have it all, but it has to be designed, or it has to be in a great workplace. That's it.
Right. So what do you say to women who doesn't have a supportive husband, or, I'm the man, you do all the work, it's okay if you're the one who wanted a job, it's your issue, because a lot of, we're very, fortunate to have the support and things like that. But what is your message to these women who have to take on a whole load of stuff because he's being the man and you're being the woman, kind of situation?
Yeah.
Especially in our culture.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I think this is a question, if we just even take it one step back before we even go into this. Are you able to establish your own boundaries? Do you know how to tell people no? Like, is this something you're able to do? And I say that because I learned the technique of establishing and setting boundaries in a way that is civilized, kind, gentle, but immovable for me. Does that make sense? So, I love you. I think you're great. And this is what you have given me. However, this does not work. Full stop. I will not do this. Full stop. This is one thing, like being able to set boundaries. And I see this a lot. Like, it's a very hard thing. It's easy for me to say this, but it's very hard to really comfortably be able to set boundaries. It's almost like a negotiation. And so you have to learn how to negotiate. And that's something that we do all the time. We do not compromise. We never compromise in our household. We negotiate, which sounds a bit businessy, but it's like, okay, if I'm going to have to cancel my meetings for you, then you owe me one, sort of a thing. And so having that type of negotiation, or that's instrumental.
Yeah. And I think this is very important. And I know you very much when you do your work or your coaching, and you have these different platforms, you are able to help women, especially, or people who are afraid to have a voice, who are afraid to Because I know when I went through this journey, I'm very much an introvert, but then I was like, wait a minute, why am I putting myself and not saying no? You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the hardest words a lot of women have with, and you are able to bring that power or empowerment, if you will,
Yeah.
to your clients, to your work, especially I think your work. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Underpaid and undervalued. That's quite a common theme. And this is backed by the research. This is even anecdotal, observational. You will see that that's the case very often. And so being able to negotiate your fair value, stand your ground, is the sooner you know how to pick that up and pick that skill up, the easier every domain of your life is going to be. And I don't say this lightly. It's one thing, I talk a lot about speaking up. Okay, there is speaking up and being able to articulate and communicate your message. But there's also one thing to establish your boundaries and being able to clarify those. And then you have negotiation. And these are different domains. And they are different fields in which you should not be taking lightly. And so we know that up to 93% of your career will be determined by how you communicate, how you build relationships. And this is Harvard research.
Yeah.
So, and if the good news is that this is something you can learn. This is a skill you can acquire. And if you feel like you need help with this, ask for the help.
Yes.
Go and find a negotiation course. Go and get a public speaking coach. Go to a therapist. Learn how to establish boundaries. It will get you there faster. It will help you identify what your own weaknesses are and the rhetoric that you need to use. And they're like words you can look out for. If somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a win-win situation, for example, you know they're not going to separate from cash. Or you might not know that, but now you do. That's that they're not going to pay. They're not willing to pay more. And there are all these other expressions which send a signal of, yeah, I'm not going to give you more, or I can give you a bit more, but you need to educate yourself and know how to navigate around them.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember we had this nice talk, and I was saying, well, I'm a new speaker. I don't have any, the experience, and I really want to, get testimonials and everything. And I found myself doing a lot of stuff for free for over a year and a half. And you're like, look, you need to make, it's not gonna be sustainable. You have to negotiate. You have to speak your worth, and that was a very difficult process for me, because we always have that nagging little self-doubt and voice. Oh, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not there yet. Who do you think you are? And things like that. So for people who might have this issue, because, a lot of people right now, because of the COVID situation, are moving careers and everything like that. And they're getting that fear and that self-doubt and that self-talk. What do you recommend from,
Okay. So I was listening into one of my colleagues' conversations. And so a client is calling, and it's like a random call saying, hey, how are you? Good, good. So listen, my budget is a bit rough. Can you cut down the costs? How much do you want to cut? Oh, well, and then they say 2,000-3,000 dirhams. Okay, let me check. And this was a rookie one. And so hang up. That 30-second conversation, if he would have approved, would have cost us 3,000 dirhams. Like that's 30 seconds that cost you 3,000 dirhams. And let's assume you're in a situation where you're negotiating your salary. Hi, dear boss. I believe I've done a good job. This is what I have produced. This is what my results have been. Look at how I'm using like facts. Not I feel I need to, or I need to pay the bills, or however people negotiate, which is, I find it to be very weird when I listen to some negotiations, but facts, this is what I have delivered. So based on these facts, I would like to have a salary raised by X, because there's a business case for it. Yes or no? Oh, you make sense. Yes. And that could be a 3-minute conversation that can have a return on investment that's, double digit. And so when you just think about it, it's quite baffling what such a short conversation can do for you in your career.
Yes.
It's just baffling. So what's the worst that can happen? They say no, big deal. Big deal.
Right.
Script yourself. Have that script in front of you. Pick up the phone, have the conversation. Yes, no, okay, done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very good, very direct, very. It takes courage, right? It takes confidence. It takes a lot of these hurdles. I think that a lot of people stop and not are able to. When we were just speaking a minute ago, it's energy, right? Even through your voice, people can pick up if you're actually going to negotiate or you're not going to. If you're going to be able to come to their terms and not yours, right?
Well, they will make a decision. So a lot of negotiations to some degrees, to a large degree, is emotional as well.
Mhm.
They will pick up if you're trustworthy or not, if you're likable or not. And so there was a research from the University of Glasgow where they were measuring the people's perception of their hellos. So they were listening to all these different hellos, like hello, 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 when people are in a conversation. And then you had assessors that were saying, is this person trustworthy or not? What is my sentiment? And we humans form a lot of opinions based on something as little as somebody's sound when they say hello. Yeah, so there is an assessment being made based on your voice.
Yeah.
And your voice is something that you can work with, whether you want to be sounding likable or authoritative or firm or immovable. Definitely, it will give you an air of the sentiment of what's going on.
Right. And that's one of the key things I learned when working with you is that my voice is not just to get on stage and be, people not get on their phone and just tune out from you. There's, of course, the tonality and all the mechanics or the details that go into it. But once I became a speaker and once I started working or speaking on stage, oh my God, how that had a huge effect in my own personal life. I'm able now to speak my voice, say what I want, what I can say, what I do want to do, and what I don't want to do, and all my values and my beliefs are like even exploding. And I think it's an amazing tool that is very much underused because of this fear of quote unquote speaking.
Yes. Okay, so glossophobia or fear of speaking, it's so
Yeah.
normal. I had a master class last week, and I had this lady. She kept asking me. She's like, "My nerves, but I get nervous, but I'm scared. But I'm scared. When are we going to talk about nerves and fears?" And I go, "Can you just stay with me? Let us go through all of this. And if you feel like it hasn't been addressed, then we will address it. Let's just go through it." And just the mere fact, like I actually don't address nerves as a section in itself in any of my sessions, because just the fact of knowing the journey that you're taking your audience on and what is high powered, what is low powered, how do you sound, like seeing yourself and going through the actual structure reduces the nerves so dramatically that we don't even talk about it as a section. So we'll go through everything and okay, these are the structures. This is how you start. This is how you finish. This is how you handle Q&A. And we go through all of these technicalities, and that's to a large degree what's needed to be done.
Right. Because then you're more, your fear automatically subsides. When you're focused on the one, which is the technicalities, you forget, oh, well, I was just fearful a minute ago, right?
Yeah.
And very interesting and a smart way that you bring all this to the table for your clients.
Yeah, knowledge is power. I do truly believe knowledge is power. And when you are, and I'm going to say to a large degree, in control of the journey, like I'm driving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, this journey, instead of driving like this, you're just going like that. Then you're way more comfortable in the car. You're sitting quite comfortably. It's like, okay, I know where I'm headed. It's all good.
Yeah, definitely. Can you believe it? It's actually been we have a minute left on the show.
Okay. Amazing.
It's wonderful how the conversations just I never refer to my my sheets here. I didn't have to because
That's awesome.
Flow that I love having on the show, and of course this is the reason why I have people that I love that come on the show, because it's an amazing energy and amazing flow to the show and a lot of value to our listeners. Okay, so what I usually do is I pick a quote from my book.
Yeah.
Randomly, which is I was just talking to you about that. Okay, and it usually wraps up, what we've been talking about and everything. So here goes, and I want you to reflect on that and give me your feedback, how that resonates with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two types of people: those who come into a room and say, "Well, here I am," and those who come in and say, "Ah, there you are." How does that, it's interesting how, what we've been talking about the whole show, it's really about serving others, right?
Yeah.
And that was an interesting quote. How does that resonate with you, this particular quote?
It resonates perfectly. That's a fantastic and very suitable quote. And to add a quote to a quote, people they may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel, which I know you're a Maya Angelou fan as well.
I love Maya.
I believe that is definitely for charisma, impact, influence, true leadership.
Yeah.
That is the essence of it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Any last words? Oh, the last time I asked for last word, Andrea was on last week, and she actually serenaded me with a poem, and I was like, ah! So, no pressure.
Okay. Well, then I'll just start singing and yodeling. I don't think so. But I will actually, since you mentioned it, there's this fantastic Swedish poem, and it goes a little something like this. She says, bryt upp, den nya dagen gryr. Oändligt är vårt stora äventyr. And basically she's saying that the beauty in life and the adventure in life lies in the adventure, in the journey, not in the final destination. And so I will finish on that Swedish note from Sweden, sending you.
Now, right? You are so. I forgot to mention that you even took out the time. You just landed in Sweden, and you were traveling and moving and everything. And you was like, yes, I'll slice this time for you, and I really, really appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. Give a hug and a kiss to your beautiful daughter and amazing family. And yes, when we come back, we definitely have to meet up because I truly, truly miss you.
Thank you for this show. Thank you for just doing so much greatness for the world, and you take good care of yourself. For everyone that tuned in, thank you for listening in to us as well, for giving us your time.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And every Wednesday, we'll be bringing amazing experts just like Saana, and bringing a lot of value, their personal story and authenticity. As always, Saana, thank you for that. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 3:30. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.